I'm just very proud of him.
Yeah.
He's got a great sense of humor
He does.
and resiliency. And that probably speaks well to his entire family.
Yeah, but your mom's a little tougher than you're looking on.
Dr. Clothier says, good morning, Josh. He's listening this morning as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you, where did you get that really strong mindset from?
Where'd you get your plow through attitude? That you just keep going?
From Mom. I figured it was.
I could have answered that one.
Definitely.
I put her in the shot. I knew that one.
Yeah, definitely his mom. There's no doubt in it. No doubt, it was Mom. Couldn't help the melodramatics, though, from high school. I just couldn't help that.
Between the two of you,
Yeah, you didn't have much of a chance, did you?
I've got clients on the line, and I you're making me look like a big sappy melodramatic.
Hey, sappy melodramatic, pull some of the beads out so we can get them on our YouTube, and let's explain. At the next break, I want to explain those to the camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I recorded them earlier.
Did you?
I tried to take a picture on your phone, but I got a picture of all of you.
Well, Dr. B, I'll tell you what, the 6:30 hour is the right time to have this kind of music playing. I mean, it's exciting out there.
It is exciting, and this will wake you up.
It will wake you up.
On Thanksgiving Eve.
That's right. And I'll tell you what, I've got a good feeling, though, Dr. B. I got a good feeling that with Josh's attitude and the expertise of Dr. Levy and his team, we're going to kick this cancer in the butt. That's what I'm thinking. What are you thinking, Dr. B?
I think that we're on the way to kicking the butt.
Kicking the butt. I'll tell you what. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. It is 6:30, and most people are getting up and getting out on the road for traffic. And so, Mustang Cali, what's going on out there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on the highways?
Well, a few minutes ago, we had a structure fire on 75 Service Road South at I-635 Lyndon B. Johnson Freeway, but it's since cleared up and it's moving fine now. There's also an HOV lane closed at 30 between Highway 161 Bush Turnpike and Sylvan Avenue. There's an accident at Highway 114 frontage east at Highway 114 William D. Tate Avenue. That was about 25 minutes. And traffic's moving at about 13 miles an hour in the two right lanes on 175 West and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, backed up to Railroad Avenue. That's traffic with Cali. Back
All
to
right.
you, JP.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. So traffic out there looks like it's moving pretty good for the pre-Thanksgiving holiday. Have a safe commute as you tune in this morning. We are talking with Josh Allen and his mom, and we have Dr. Levy on the phone with us as well. Good morning, all three of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So, Josh, so you've got this attitude of, hey, you know what? I got to be strong for Mom. And, yeah, I'm scared. This isn't fun. I'm kind of terrified, actually. But this has become a part of my life. And so, day by day, when you're going in for your treatments, when you go in for your you say you get poked a lot, right?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
And so, has that just become a part of your day? Is that not strange anymore?
That's not strange. No, not really.
So is going into the hospital, nurses and doctors and needles and bags and things like that, is that just a part of your day now?
Yeah, that's just become kind of part of the usual Mondays.
And is that what you do, is normally go in on a Monday, or how often do you have to go into the doctor or the hospital?
Every week on Monday.
Every week on Monday.
Now, has there been new progressions in the cancer? Have you had some new information come out?
Yes.
So
We have.
what has happened since, I don't know, September, let's say?
Well, the cancer started to go away, and then they discovered 3 new sites, 2 in my neck, and 1 in my brain.
And so, you've been dealing with cancer since you were 11. Now you've got this news. Now what are you thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking, well, it's coming back, so let's try something new.
So the fight rages then,
Mm-hmm.
and you got that fight still in you.
Yep.
That's excellent. What kind of advice would you give a kiddo and their mom and dad out there if they were to hear the news that, hey, by the way, not only is it coming back, but we've got some in the spine and we've got some up in our brain?
I would tell them to be strong. Life is going to throw some curveballs at you. You got to try and hit those curveballs.
Dr. Levine, what kind of treatment are you guys looking at now and trying to address these new found tumors? So what are we looking at success-wise? Are we going to be able to kick this thing in the butt? Is his attitude a big helper with that? So, Josh, we found this out. We're starting again. Now, it seems like the staff that you're getting to work with is probably pretty super. Would you say that?
I would say that. I love all the nurses and all the doctors at Children's Medical Center.
And so, I've also heard that they decided that you didn't look cute enough, and so they decided to give you some jewelry.
They did.
And so, were you offended by that, or were you kind of excited about your new jewels?
The new jewelry was interesting.
It was it. Well, tell us about what I'm talking about. Tell the folks that are listening out there what it is that they give you at the hospital and how you're able to kind of keep track of what's going on with you right now.
Well, so, okay, gotta speed up, guys. These are called beads of courage, and each bead represents something different. Like, we have rainbow beads, there's a black bead for every time that I've gotten stuck with a needle, which is probably a good 3/4 of the beads on here. There's little heads that represent hair loss. There's glow-in-the-dark ones for radiation. There's special ones for camp. There's just all sorts of different beads. My mom could do a whole lot better at explaining that, though, because she's the one who keeps up with all of it.
All right, so Christine, why the beads? I mean, what's the thought behind that?
So the program is called Beads of Courage, and the idea there is to help the kids document what they've gone through and be able to show this is how tough I am, that I've gone through all of these things. And so like Joshua says, he gets a bead for clinic visits, he gets beads for chemotherapy, he gets a bead for staying overnight in the hospital. When he was admitted to the hospital and sent to the pediatric ICU unit, at one point in time, he got a special bead for that. So there's beads for all of the challenges that they go through so that they can look back and say, this is how strong I am. And with Joshua, these are small glass beads. These are, what, 1/2 inch, if that. And the strings are about 3 feet long, and he has 8 strings of beads that he's working on now that show that document his journey through this and everything he's been able to endure.
Absolutely. I wish that we could see this live right now, and it will be on our YouTube, but he has a number of beads that string out there, and I noticed that there are a lot of black beads on there, and I don't necessarily like being stuck. Do you ever get used to it, Josh?
After being stuck each week for 3 years, you get used to the needles.
It doesn't bother you a whole lot anymore, huh?
Yeah, now whenever they de-access my port, I can do it by myself. I actually don't even need the nurses to de-access me.
You're taking their job, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Levy, when did, do you know when the Beads of Courage began, and has it been able to fulfill, I think, the concept that it was trying to create with the children? Do you find that you have better patience as a result of having something like this, as simple as matching a bead with a time that you have to go through in the hospital? Do you find you have better patience as a result? Josh, you know, we've talked about this, of course, before going live today on the show, and because I wanted to make sure it was an okay topic to talk about. And we're going to continue this over the break and talk about it some more. So don't feel like we're going to cut you off and say, okay, you got 10 seconds to answer this really great question. Cancer is not fun, and we hear all the time how people don't survive cancer, but we also hear how people do survive cancer. I can't imagine that it's not gone through your mind that, hey, if I don't survive this, what's next? How are you dealing with, how are you coping with, how are you coming to terms with the fact that this may be the last Thanksgiving, this may be the last Christmas, and how can you help other people and other children who are dealing with this maybe better understand it?
Well, I just think of it as live it like it's your last day. Try and be the best person that you can be.
Wow. And what a great philosophy of life. You know, I like that because this is the only day we have for any of us, actually. But particularly for you, to live the best day. And, you know, the courage, really, to even come on this program and share your story. Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Well, folks, I'll tell you, we're going to leave you with that. Come back after the break. Dr. Levy, if you'll stay with us, I want to ask you a question in regards to mortality and the approach that some of the families take, and what are some of the different pieces of advice you might give somebody that's listening out there right now. So you're with On Point with JP and Dr. B. We are with Josh Allen and his mom and Dr. Levy, and we are talking specifically about the form of cancer that Josh has and how he's dealing with it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, Devonna wants to know how we can show support to Josh and his family.
Well, by God, we're about to tell you.
Do you want me to
Tell
reply
her
or
to
just
call.
tell her?
Tell her to call and ask that question. Say, hey, call 214-787-1160 and ask, how can we show support to Josh and his family? Hey, morning, Marty.
Getting all teary-eyed.
You are?
Moms
No.
do that.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. We'd be a little worried about her if she didn't, you know.
Yeah. Callie's getting a little teary-eyed, too.
I can't help it. Come on.
When he was first diagnosed, like when we were kind of in this, just knew that he had cancer, hadn't really started treatment. The Sunday before that, there was a song that we sang at church, and I lost it. Like half the choir lost it. We just.
Right.
And he sat there next to me and he said, "Don't worry, Mom, I'm never going to leave you." And I was like completely lost it. Every time we tell that story, every time we sing that song, like the whole choir can't even keep their stuff together.
Yeah.
Oh, God, now you got me doing it. It's all right.
Feelings and emotions are normal, too.
That's
The
right.
feels.
The feels.
They're so real.
Do you ever feel like if you kind of break down that would really break your mom's heart, or that would cause more pain for your mom?
I don't know.
Do you ever break down? It would be normal.
Even if it's in like your own private.
I've broken down once or twice before in private.
Mm-hmm.
What was running through your mind?
Well, it was after I had been told that it was coming back for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really scared. I didn't want her to see me like that, so I went to my room and cried into my pillow. And punched the wall.
And punch them all.
Do you feel
Yeah,
anger,
'cause-
That's what we did.
sadness? Is it mainly like anger or mainly sadness?
It's a mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll punch a wall and then cry into a pillow, or cry into a wall and then punch a pillow.
Yeah.
So
And I've always tried to tell him, you know, I've told he is very protective of me. And so I think that there's certainly a level of this where he doesn't want to talk about it because he's afraid it's going to upset me. But I've tried to tell him, you know what, I'm tougher than you think I am, and anything you want to talk about, you don't need to worry about me, you
Yeah.
know. I'm sure I've thought about it, and I'm sure it's crossed my mind. You're not going to say something that
That
is
you
going to
haven't
surprise
thought
me
about.
that I
That's
haven't
right.
thought about.
Now, real quick, Josh, are you faith-based?
Yes.
Okay. Do you reflect back with God or with prayer on any of this?